Sundara, beauty. The Supreme Reality, or Paramatman, has time and again been described by the Vedic and Tantric seers as Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram. The first two of these attributes, Satyam, truth, and Sivam, auspiciousness, are intangible and imperceptible, except in the form of experience. The third attribute, Sundaram or beauty, however, is the attribute that is tangible and perceptible, because beauty always relates to form. Can Satyam, truth, or Sivam, auspiciousness, be perceived? No, they can only be experienced. But Sundaram, beauty, can be perceived as well as experienced. Therefore, the attribute of Sundaram is most vital, as it is the one through which one can see, hear, touch, smell, and taste the divine. Why were these mantras called Saundarya Lahari? The word Saundarya means beauty, and Lahiri, which has often been translated as waves, is actually means surge. A surge of electricity alters and completely overrides the flow of electrical energy to the different gadgets that are plugged into it. And in the same way, inner experiences can cause a surge or influx of high voltage energy to the dormant parts of the brain, which can completely transform the Monday awareness into an exalted state where one can even experience the divinity within. Thus, by the title Saundarya Lahari, which literally means surge of beauty, one can assume that the experience Shankara was undergoing was a surge of beauty in the form of Devi. So one has to first define Saundarya or beauty in order to understand the title given to these mantras. What is beauty? The sublime experience of the rishis, munis, and seers in regard to the Supreme Being was described as Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram, which is similar to Sat, Chit, Ananda. They said that the Supreme Consciousness is Satyam, or truth, unadulterated and spotlessly clean. Being of the nature of truth, it is also known as Sivam, or auspicious, which means that it is always accompanied by positive and curative vibrations. This leads to the third attribute of Sundaram, or beauty, because that which is pristine and pure emits positive vibrations and gives happiness and joy. A type of ecstatic thrill and excitement arises that has to be beautiful. Bliss or Anandam is an indication of Satyam, Sivam, Sundaram. Misery is an indication of their absence. Whenever some bliss is experienced, one should trust it and follow the direction. Then one will be moving toward the Supreme, because bliss is its fragrance. If one follows bliss, one will be following nature and will never go astray. When one is natural, blissful, and relaxed, one can behold beauty and wisdom as it arises. Beauty cannot be experienced by an agitated mind. The mind must be calm and dispassionate in order to perceive beauty. Without discrimination and dispassion, beauty is short-lived. It withers and dies. If one wants to experience undying beauty, one must develop dispassion, vairagya, and discrimination, viveka, along with devotion and reverence to the form of beauty. Only then will the form of beauty elevate and bring one closer to the divinity that resides within. If one is full of desire, lust, and passion, the experience of beauty will diminish, leaving one unsatiated and dissatisfied, and giving rise to mental agitations of every kind. There is beauty in restraint, self-control, and silence. The saints, sages, tapasvis, sadhus, sannyasins, rishis, and munis bear silent testimony to that. The grace, beauty, and equipoise that they carry cannot be found elsewhere, even in the most fashionable dressed Miss Universe. There is beauty in balance, which is why nature is beautiful. Because nature is the epitome of balance. The day is balanced by the night, the heat by the cold, the sun by the moon, the high mountains by the lowland, and the deep sea by the skies. If one wants to add beauty to life, one has to inculcate balance in each and every aspect. This entire creation is an expression of beauty. There are waves of beauty wherever one looks, the mountains, oceans, trees, animals, birds, aquatic life, flora and fauna, sunrise and sunset, full moon and stars. Each and every speck of nature compels one to accept that this creation is work of some master craftsman. In sharp contrast, the gadgets and objects made by man may titillate the senses, but they do not stir his soul. One derives peace of mind and tranquility from the beauty of nature, as it helps one to connect with God and with the divinity abounding in the universe. Whenever one wants to connect with oneself, one can just take a walk in the woods or along the seashore. The creations of man, on the other hand, agitate the mind and disturb its serenity. People are driven by some mad passion to possess all the things that money can buy, and even those that it cannot. The beauty one sees in man-made creations is only a shadow or reflection of the beauty of God's creation. It is said that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. To the average person, the idea of beauty is limited to the clothes, jewelry, cosmetics, cars, and other objects, but a highly aware and sensitive person would have a totally different concept of beauty. A smile or a glance can be beautiful. The innocence of children can move the sternest of hearts. Beauty is not only related to objects and people. Even thoughts and ideas can be beautiful. An ugly-looking person may have a beautiful mind. Even the most beautiful person will not hold your attention for long if there is not a beautiful mind to go with it. There is beauty in the rose as well as the thorn. Wit and intelligence are beautiful, but a simpleton or fool may also be beautiful. There is beauty in the fierce tiger and the venomous snake. Although they are wild, dangerous, and frightening, they are perfect creations. Another name for beauty is also perfection. Beauty always sends a thrill through one's being because of its perfect nature. Beauty brings one very close to the experience of the divine. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that wherever there is Aishwarya, beauty, perfection and accomplishment, one should at once recognize that as his amsa or manifestation. One should feel that the part of him has intermingled in the DNA of that person, place or thing. In this way one imbibes the active DNA of God. All have inherited the DNA or coded blueprint of divinity, but the password to the decode and activate it has not yet been found. Those persons who have Vibhuti, divine power, have activated the DNA through God's grace. Beauty carries a taste of the universal. It has no caste, creed, or religion, neither is it restricted to gender or nationality. It is just beautiful. Beauty can be spotted anywhere, even in vast crowds. There are people who stand out, for they are blessed with that essence of beauty. It radiates from them, compelling others to look at them again and again, so that the beauty becomes imprinted on their mind. Beauty is ethereal and mysterious. It always has a surreal aura around it which leaves the beholder wonderstruck and immensely moved. Beauty in any form reminds one of God, because God is the storehouse of beauty. All beauty has emanated from that divine principle which is all-pervasive and has been described in the Vedas as Sundaram, most beautiful. One simply cannot forget beauty. It remains etched in the mind and one is able to recall it vividly, even if the experience is long gone. Beauty brings out the best in everyone. Poets burst into poetry, musicians into music, and artists into beautiful art forms. Even an ordinary person is transported by beauty into a world of dreams, ecstasy, relaxation, and relief. People spend a lot of money to remain locked up in a theater for 3 hours to watch the latest beauties on screen. This gives them thrills and joys which they do not get elsewhere.